What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming to you today on Labor Day. Thank you for all your labor. Really, you don't need a salute for that. But anyway, if you don't know who I am, I'm Erica Williams, author of the Classy Climb blog and author of the Smartphone Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. And I had to do this one today because usually Monday is supposed to be a solitude Monday, a silence Monday. But we haven't enacted that yet. So let's get our little bit of talk on. Part of what I want you guys to understand and me doing the countdown saying, hey, there's only, 80 some days. There are only this many days. Like, for instance, in the chat, you guys put how many more days are left in 2020. And then also put in the chat how many days are left till November 3rd. These are very important dates. I want you guys to understand this. I want you to study this. I want you to be in sync with this. My emails when I checked this weekend were full of wholesalers from various cities, Dallas, Houston, had somebody in Killeen, had somebody in Kansas City, had somebody in Cleveland, in my inbox, just flooding me with deals. Now, here's why. Better shoot your shot, baby. Better shoot your shot, because people are looking for alternative places to put their money. Now, part of what I want to talk to you guys today about, I was going to do this really nice, quiet video about Stillness is the Key, because it's a really great book, and I think you guys should check this book out, right? Stillness is the key. It's a great book. But something told me, no, girl, no. We're going to have to give them the real. We're going to have to give them 100% today. Now, what is going to rise this fall? It's going to be insurance. It's going to be food. It's going to be I'm be careful on that. It's going to be insurance and it's going to be food, but it's also going to be marriage, and it's also going to be community tightening, community policing. And people say, well, whoa, Erica, how do those fit together? Well, let me break it down how they fit together. The thing of what we're about to see, and sadly and goodly, is people aren't talking about Iowa right now. Iowa had what we call a on-the-ground hurricane. It was like 100-mile winds. The pictures, if you guys want to see the pictures themselves, are absolutely devastating, right? And there's a meme that's a joke out there, and I usually see it from men. But this year I'm seeing it from women, where it's like, women, hide your apartment. Make sure you hide your apartment on Instagram. And I thought, well, that's weird. And then I start looking at the news, where, let me go ahead and share this screen with y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about of this storm. Let's see if I can pull it out here. Let's see. Because I really want y'all to see this, what's happened. Because when I talk about food prices, people are like, oh, Erica, you're just pulling it out of your butt. No, I'm really not. Iowa, as much as we want to joke about our agriculture and that good kind of thing, actually does provide a ton of our food. There we go. There we go. Now, this is part of the storm. This is part of the storm, and I want y'all to see these pictures. Put one in the comments if you can see it. I want you, those are silos. Now, you may say, well, Erica, those silos look empty, or they just have sand in them, or they're not filled with anything. That's the key. Millions of acres of crops were destroyed. So once they actually, get crews out there, look at that picture, and get the Hispanic people out there, pulling crops, where will they go? The shelf life without proper storage is bad. That's why you see the farmer's market. It'd be like fresh pick this week, fresh pick last week. You don't really see, oh, we picked this like a month ago. No. That's not how that works. Even here, right? So you right? I don't know if y'all can hear that or not, but I want you just to see it, because it's something not being talked about, and it's something that's going to really, they've asked for $4 billion in federal assistance. Now, the key thing is, whenever your state does an audit of a storm, you ask for the most money possible, because guess what the government gonna do? Well, how about 2? Yeah, you say you need 4 billion, but how about 2 billion? And so really, you don't know the true number of the storm and the damage, but you do know right now, over 8,200 homes were completely damaged, extensively damaged. 20 school buildings were damaged. More than 800 residential commercial buildings experienced full or partial collapse of roof walls and ceilings. Over 13 million acres of crops. I know y'all don't care about pork, or y'all say y'all don't. North Carolina is a pork state, but we're number 4. Iowa's number 1. So for those of you acting like you don't care about bacon, you're about to be short on bacon this fall. And there have already been articles talking about we were already going to be short on bacon because China, who has huge investments in multiple farms all over the United States, was taking a high number of pork from us this year. Now, you can look at this, you can go through this again. Originally, almost 500,000 Iowans did not have power. Now you're about at 70,000. Okay. I really wanted to go to central Iowa, but I ain't gonna lie to you, girl. Okay. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Some parts of our country, the way they acting right now, I just might not visit. I love United Way. I love working with the Red Cross in previous years. But I just have to tell you, it ain't no joke. So if you guys can see that, let me know. Yep, large parts of meat processing, all that good stuff. Yeah, all that. So why am I bringing this up? Because food costs are going to go up. And one of the biggest things parents were complaining about January to now is that the kids were eating them out of house and home, and the bread and food lines were going up, and that, oh my God, no one has any food. Well, if you thought it was bad this summer, hey, baby, it's about to be ridiculous. Now, here's the difference. For those of you who are in certain areas like I am, Austin, Texas, we have farms surrounding Houston, Texas. Texas has a lot of its own food, but it still has to import a lot of food. What people are going to not understand is there's going to be levels to the quality of food. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on now. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever gone to the Piggly Wiggly, Kroger, and then Whole Foods? We all know there's different quality in the foods. If you can, in the chat, put somewhere that you know has bad food. And I'm talking about a grocery store. I'm going to say Piggly Wiggly's, and I'm going to say Kinlaw's from North Carolina. It was gross. It smelled like this meat was old. And for whatever reason, Black people and Lumpy people are like, I'm going to go get me some meat from Kinlaw's. I'm like, y'all, this meat ain't no good. It smells horrible in here. It smells like they killed a pig in the back. But they would always go there because the meat was cheap. And I was like, it's cheap for a reason. Okay. I'd rather go vegetarian than eat at Kinlaw's. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. I hope that nobody from that family sees me and wants to sue me, but I mean what I say. Part of why I bring this up is, Grant Cardone has a shirt talking about you can fake a Lambo. You can fake a fancy car. You can't fake a jet. I'm going to tell y'all right now, you can fake all you want on YouTube and Instagram. I ain't calling nobody out. I'm just saying, you can't fake an office. You can't fake real money. You can't fake land and business ownership. You can't fake living on your own. When I saw the article, now listen, I'm going to say this and y'all will be like, Erica, you being petty again. When it talked about, when I'm on the internet, a lot of times men are in the comments, sometimes being trolls, women too. And they would go, oh, yeah, I bet you live with your mama. And people be like, so what? And at first I used to think that was funny. I'd be like, okay, so you live with your mama and you on the internet using your time like this to argue? Honey, that ain't it. Well, now you have that increased. It used to be 1 in 3 men, 19 to 34, lived at home with their parents. Now people say, well, Erica, those people could be doing all kinds of things. Listen, 19 to 34, unless you're saving to buy a house, baby. Again, people are going to be in the comments, Erica, they're being frugal. They're on a budget. They're paying off debt. I can tell you right now, I know 3 Black guys who stayed at home for almost 10 years after college. Guess what? I said, well, how much is y'all debt? We all went to the same college. What was the debt? Oh, it was like 20 grand. So I'm thinking, man, 10 years, man, let's do the math. Okay, let's do the math together. Now, I ain't knocking the brothers, but I am. Okay. Now, call me petty, whatever. $20,000 divided by 10 years is $2,000 a year. $2,000 a year divided by 12 months is $166 a month. 166 divided by 4 weeks is $41 a week. Hear me out now. And many people say, well, Erica, how you pocket watching? Because that's what we do here at the Classy Climb. We encourage you to invest your money wisely, so we don't have to pocket watch you. But here, I want to hear you out. I want to hear y'all this out. Every one of those males, those 3 men I know, had BMWs. Now I'm sitting here like, well, damn, I got me an old ass car. When I moved to Texas, I had a truck that was old, and then I got another car that's not a fancy car. I'm thinking I'm being a reasonable adult. Well, come to find out, these people been living home with their mom. I said, oh, well, at least you're helping your mom out pay rent. And one of the dudes' mom busted him out, said he don't pay nothing. He's just over here cutting our grass and helping me and his dad out. Now, his dad did suffer from a stroke, and he had health issues. So I thought, either way, he's giving good help to help the father, companionship to the mom. He's there helping in some facet. But what you see is a lot of people just staying there. And I know everybody talk about group economics, and if we all just move in a house together, we can save so much money. But that's just it. Everybody in the house ain't paying rent. Everybody in the house is not carrying their weight. Everybody in the house is not on the same goal. Prime example, someone was talking to me about house hacking and how they were house hacking. I said, man, that's so great that you own your house. Oh, no, we renting this house, but we house hacking. No, honey. No. The definition of house hacking is one of you 4 men in this house must own this house, and the other guys are renting rooms from him. That's the definition. I get it. Everybody's on Instagram using the word house hacking, Airbnb, living life, whatever, and people are confused by the definition. But I just want to make it very clear. In order for you to house hack, one of you has to actually own the house. Okay? Other than that, y'all just roommates, renting a place, and that's okay. You can't fake adulthood, right? What you're not paying attention to. Now, I'm going to give this grace to LA because it's LA and it's expensive. There's a group of men, all fitness YouTubers and Instagrammers, and it's about 6 of them in a house, but it's a big old house in LA. It's like off, like in a suburb, but it's a big house. So technically, for the cost of living for that area, then they are doing quite well. And that makes sense. But in some of these lower other states, to be such a vitriol towards cohabitation, towards marriage, towards women, towards whatever, and you live at home with your parents, that don't make no sense. You have other fish bigger to fry. See? Same thing with young ladies. You cannot expect a young man to take care of you if y'all both living at your parents' house. The transition to adulthood for one of y'all, him or her, somebody has to transition. Now you're going to say, well, Erica, how dare you judge these people? How dare you? And I say, listen, because the confrontation of reality, of the cost of bills in real life should have forced many people into different careers. You feel me? You follow me? It should have forced many people who are like, I'm finding my passion, to find a job to pay them, to find a skill that pays. This is why we have fields like tech and trades that are so empty, because a lot of people are wasting their youth in jobs that do not matter. Shuffling paper, and it does not matter. The people that are going to come out on the other end of this fall, because winter is coming, are people with skills in trades. Period. People who have the way to serve people, people who have something to sell, those people will come out better. Tax liens. The reason I'm talking about doing a live courses, like I'm going to do a live, maybe like 5 states. I'm going to purchase something in each state, because people are saying, well, we've got an eviction moratorium. It's all good. Honey, no. Your city and your county wants their tax money. It's an election year, and a lot of people aren't paying attention. They're not. Right now here in Austin, Texas, in Hutto, Texas, 2 people back-to-back stepped down off city council. I ultimately believe they're going to find some corruption there. because there's so much growth happening in those cities, and a lot of money is being put into those cities because they're right next door to Austin. Now, some people say Hutto's so way far away from Austin. No, now at this point it's considered a suburb, just like Roanoke. Now, what does got to do with anything, right? You're gonna be like, what does got to do? What does got to do with anything? I bring it up because the problem is people are not recognizing the changing winds. The changing wind is here. Prime example, North Carolina governor waited a little too late. Now, what do I mean? North Carolina governor, they want him out. They want Roy Cooper out. And people thought, well, that's just, that's just crazy. Why would they want him out? He's keeping North Carolina safe, but that's not exactly true. While other states have been opening gyms, locations, different things, North Carolina is still closed. And what's going to end up happening, and I'm going to say this, and people may think, oh my God, Erica, and I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to show you this picture of this guy because I know what he's doing. And I'm going to tell you, the climate right now is, let me see the best way I can say that, climate. The climate right now is a little bit towards multiculturalism. People want some change, but not too much change. They want to feel like they helped minority people, but not too much. And so here we go. I'm going to show you Dan Forest. And the reason why, full disclosure, I've donated to him, his campaign. This ain't no ad. I'm just telling you, he's lieutenant governor right now. And he's running for governor, and he's Republican. Now, North Carolina, if you don't know anything about it, is very liberal in parts. But compared to California liberal, they're conservative as heck. Now, the teachers were mad at the last Republican, even though he put us in a surplus, even though North Carolina was in total opposition of Virginia, they voted somebody else in. Now that Roy Cooper's pissing everybody off by the students not being in school, and Raleigh has so much money, Wake County, that they're like, our kids are going to school. You know how many millions of dollars we pay up here in property taxes? These kids are going to school. Those kids are going to school. Other poor counties, which there's 100 counties in North Carolina, kids are still at home virtual learning. Now, I'm going to just say it like this. When you coop people up, and again, he's talking a little bit on ICE. If you know anything about North Carolina, we've got a lot of Hispanic people, Hispanic cities and towns. When you coop people up and you say, this man is the reason you're cooped up, it changes. People want to vote that person out. Now, I'm going to show y'all this, and the reason it matters. North Carolina and Tennessee are where companies are fleeing down to. They're fleeing down to. Now, I'm going to show you the reason I bring this guy up, because I just want to show you that they know the tide has changed a little bit. Now, here's the guy. I want to show y'all his running person. He's running for governor, and the other guy's running for lieutenant governor. Let's see if I can pull him up. Where is he at? Hold on. Here he is. Now, this black guy right here, Mark Robinson, went viral for going down to city council in Greensboro, North Carolina. Does anybody know what Greensboro, North Carolina is in North Carolina, y'all? It's very historically, predominantly black, wealthy blacks there. You have the highest North Carolina NC8 Aggies, 10,000 students. The biggest historically black college you have is there in Greensboro. Hear me out here. And they turned the tide for elections, so much so that they tried to redraw that district. So that's Mark Robinson. Can y'all see him? The big, hefty set black man. Not clowning them, not making fun of them. I'm just telling you, that's them and their wives here. There we go. Let me switch it over. And the reason I bring this up is because that's that social media power. About less than 2 years ago, this man went viral for going down to city council, and it got so viral that they said, let's throw some money behind him. Because what? Social media is important. So this guy who went viral at city council social media partnered with the guy who's currently lieutenant governor to do what? Route somebody out of office. Why? Because they know how bad it's going to get in the fall. North Carolina's got a lot of opportunity, a lot of different stuff going on. And in order to position yourself like, look, the vice president's black, the lieutenant governor's black. A lot of that's going to happen. You got a lot of symbolism going on out here, not necessarily change, but I promise you, if the NRA is endorsing you in a city, in a state, boy, you got some money going behind you. Now, let me read some of y'all comments. I didn't mean to go too off in a tangent, but I had just said I want to bring that up because insurance is going to go up. Now, many people say, Erica, why is insurance going to go up? Unemployment, businesses being rioted, looting. Insurance companies are already changing the language to say by acts, natural disasters, right? Like if it's a natural disaster, it's not their fault. Acts of whatever, which means riots, they're trying to not cover you. So right now they're trying to change people's policies. Right now with insurance in trucking, they're going to up the insurance to $2 million coverage instead of $1 million coverage. Boy, I tell you, I hate people trying to tell you how to run some shit. I hate that with a passion. All right, let me calm down. Let me calm down. I hate that. That's annoying as fuck. All right, so let me see here. 54 days until November 1st. Thank you so much. 57 days until election. Yes, that's right. Marriage and baby mamas. Well, even cohabitation, right? A lot of people are trying to reshuffle the deck of responsibility. Like a lot of people are going, oh, we have 50% custody. And what you're going to see in the fall is some changes for sure. 115 days left in 2020. Thank you. That's correct. I would suggest it, right? There's a level of people who, if you're in a CSA, community supported agriculture, you definitely need to be doing that for sure. Food is already going up. Oh, for sure. Food has been going up. Food has been going up for a minute. Hold on one second, y'all. I have my pantry fully stocked. She's not lying. Preppers told us food's going up. Yeah, for sure. China has a crop shortage from locust and flood also. Yep. Uh-oh, it's hopping. Ralph Williams, no bacon. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a shortage on bacon. Food Line in the Hood, Save a Lot, Food World, Wayne's Grocery, Winco, Piggly Wiggly, Learn to make food from scratch. Chinese companies own a large set. Yes, listen, y'all, it's about to get interesting. Food Town, Jerry's. What's a Jerry's? Winn-Dixie used to be nasty, and it smelled in there too. Stores in Detroit. Oh, I'm not going to touch that, but you know. Ralph out here stunting. Thank you. You can fake everything except premium health care. For sure. There's turkey bacon. I don't know. Turkey bacon tastes like nastiness. Learn to cook and bake. Eat less meat. If you can afford it, start buying from the Amish. Brothers don't want to work 60 to 80 hours per week. I mean, if they don't, then, again, I'm just going to be honest. You cannot demand more than what you provide. If you do not have utility in society, then you really can't argue. There's a number one thing that is harsh to say, but I have to say it. If you have, and this is the thing, insurance companies have been saying this for a while. If they put police officers on insurance, like they had to have their own insurance, and people fight me about this. In order to be compliant, if you have a certain number of knocks to your insurance, you can't be a cop. Well, the same goes for African American people. If you had 9 out of 10 African American people with insurance instead of the reverse, all these shootings, trust me, the police departments would have new procedures in place because they'd be like, hey, we paying out way too many policies. So people don't understand that. That's called house slacking. It's called house something. Food deport. They charge you to put for the plastic bags to put your food in at checkout. The meat was not refrigerated, looked spoiled. Ooh. And the canned foods were badly dented. Yeah, that's some sad. Don't eat there. If you eat those pickled pea feet, your hand and feet will be so swollen you'll need an EMT to cut your shoes off. Oof, gosh. Where is y'all eating? Regina, listen, that's your choice for sure. And that's your choice to show up in the polls in November. But out of 44 states, North Carolina still closed, gyms, parks, stuff. That's literally putting people out of business. I don't know if y'all understand the math of how long people can hold reserves, and all y'all gonna pay people's mortgages. Are y'all gonna pay people's rents and people's mortgages? And okay. Our family buy our meat in bulk, go to the butcher and buy in bulk, split the cost with family and friends. It's really fresh. Does anyone here know how to make 200? Of course. There's a ton of ways to do it, but it's still going to be work. I'll just say that, unless you're selling it. No more red meat, just chicken and fish, probably frozen because Costco keeps trying to sell rotten meat and bad fruit. Ooh, wow. What Costco? What city and state? That's right. That's him. He went viral. Wake County, is Carrie in school? Who is in school? Because the way they just pronounced it, let me make sure. Because if they're saying in 6 weeks they're about to reevaluate if they're going to open up schools, that means one of the school districts is open. So which one is it in North Carolina? Okay, all right. July 14th, that's a way back. That's way back. I need to update it today. Now, I ain't texting my boyfriend. I'm about to cuss people out because these people is something else now. We got, I tell you what, don't worry, we're going to fix it. Why are you working in the backyard for free? As Andre Hatton tells me to always put that Cash App out there. Get responsible. Yeah. Yeah, get responsible people. I'm being real millennial. You know what? SNS consulting, here's the thing. People love to try to tell you how to run something, and they ain't running the same exact thing. People love trying to tell you how to run something. A deep freezer I ordered in March is finally getting here this weekend. That sounds about right. Ugh, Chuck steak. Ugh. Learn how to go fishing. Yeah, I mean, literally. I also started making my own bread. Congratulations. They said in NY you are charged 5 cents to 50 cents per bag. Where is that money going? Probably the taxes. It's New York. And it says in CT, which is Connecticut, it's called the bag tax, 10 cents per plastic bag. In Canada, we pay 5 cents. In NYC, we're opening this up for movie theaters, Broadway, and hotels. And the funny thing about when you say that New York's not open, hotels aren't open. Some of the hotels, I think, are hosting like $2 million a day in homeless people in certain areas. So, you know, they open to some people, just not everybody. Some charter schools are open in Charlotte. Most stuff outside of museums, etc., are open. Nobody's studying, Roy. That's right. November 5th, all schools in Cobb County will be back in school. Second largest school district. You know why they'll be open? Because they're trying to catch some of them kids up so they don't have a headache next year. I promise you. Next year gonna be a headache. Thanks for the great advice, Erica. Stay blessed. Thank you. NC has some schools open for charge to parents that choose not to have their children at home or that have no choice. Now, what are they charging? Tell me about it, Regina. What they charging them? Because I want to know that. That'd be interesting. I want to hear about them charges. That'd be hard to. I just would love to see how they're going to write that off as they're charging parents. What are they charging a babysit fee? What are they charging them? Please let us know in the comments. Kids need to go back to school. What, sir? No, sir. No, take your $10 super chat away. Take it away. You're going to be out here acting wild. Kids need to go back to school. A lot of new parents and homeschool groups ask how to homeschool and not be bothered. Jim, let me tell you, you know how many people have been telling me about their 5-year-old in the kindergarten class, other than my sister. There's no other parent there. They're like the only parent, and all the parents are just gone. So when the kids need to get paper, pencil, crayons, or activities start, they're not even there to do it. Like, they're not even there to participate. And so it doesn't really work if you don't have someone there helping the kids in some way or fashion. It just don't. Akron, Ohio starts online Thursday. As a single parent, I don't mind online because of the flexibility. Okay. Property taxes due. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm telling you. Like, October, November, December is still going to be, it's still going to be lit. It's still going to be tax liens for sale. And honestly, when it comes to wholesaling, so for those of you in the Rise of 20% class tomorrow, we'll have Derek from Houston, Texas coming on, just breaking down wholesaling, telling them kind of what's going through for the next year. It's going to be really good. And bring your questions for those of you in that class. You're going to have people who've been holding on to grandma's house or uncle's house or somebody's house that they ain't lived in years. They just letting it rot to the ground. They're going to let it go. It's going to be there for the picking. Right now I'm on somebody's wholesaling list, and I got like all kind of emails today. I got them from Dallas, Kansas, oh my God, Cleveland, you name it, where I got them from. And I looked at some of the pictures, and I could tell you it was somebody old house, walker cane, stuff inside the house still, but it's been empty. Dust on shelves, dust on tables. It's just been sitting empty, right? Either grandma's at a home and and they trying to work the system to get her Medicaid or get her free homing, right? Because if your parents own stuff, they make you try to sell that stuff for assets, right? Trust me, there are several people who, that empty house, oh, we got to get something for it. And they'll be letting it go. So that's why I'm bringing him on to kind of break that down and really talk about wholesaling and why it's going to be a little bit different this time. You know, we got 17 million vacant houses in America, but why it's going to be different this time? Because it will. The daycare is still active out here in California. Okay. From anywhere from $70 to $120 a week, depending on the financial situation in Durham. So what are they charging them? Are they charging them for what? What is it? What is the charge called? Is what I'm trying to say. I think it's 150, but they offer a sliding scale fee. Some here have questions of the process. Okay. NYC has pushed back the date to open school September 21st. Maybe because the teachers demanding safe environment. I can say right now, here in Texas, there's a private Christian school. The woman has like a giant plastic bubble around her desk, like a cellophane or what do you call that thin stuff, plastic wrap. And the crazy part is she's still walking in and out of the classroom. So it's like, what's the purpose of that bubble? I don't get it. Online is good for preteens, but the younger ones need a classroom for real. Erica, if you had cash sitting around, would you invest in gold or a house since the dollar is getting weak? I mean, the dollar has been getting weak. That's not a big difference. I would say if you're getting gold, you get it in smaller sections. So if you need to sell it, you can. A big thing is a house because it's a tangible asset. I know people think, well, right now people ain't paying any mortgages, Erica. It's still a tangible asset. If you need to sell it, there's always someone who's looking to sell. Prime example, there was a bandit sign, I think I shared in the community tab, where the dude's like, we buy houses, cars, trucks, gold, silver, call this number. And on one hand, I want to laugh, but on the other, I'm like, that's what's really going to start happening. People are going to be like, what's in this house we can sell? Because we need money. And that's part of why I'm going to do the video, Stillness is the Key, because Stillness is the Key talks about people kind of, instead of reacting, sitting back and seeing what's the next best move. Like right now, me reacting to this phone, I'm going to ignore it because here's what I know. Drivers are like cats. Every 2 minutes, if they want to talk to someone or vent or complain, they do. But all they've done is set it up so they will be fired and they will never get used by me again. Like, I'm so serious about this right now. I don't even want to play with how serious I am right now. Because what ends up happening is you look up and a lot of people have done nothing but react in their life. Instead of pivoting, instead of like embracing change, instead of changing their life, these old school ways don't work anymore. But they don't want to hear that. So for me, it's still going to be housing. And here's the funny part. It's still real estate all day. Now hear me out. A lot of people are like, hey, stocks, flipping houses, Shopify, Amazon, FBA, Shopify, all stuff. Where did the 50% of adults 18 to 29 go? They went back to their parents' house. This is why all roads lead to real estate is the same, because it's important to have what? Somewhere to go. So the guy or girl in the next 2 to 3 years that has their own house, has their own car, is leagues above most people because that's just the basics. But so many people want to dot it up, Instagram it up, look like they're going to Miami every weekend, but they lived at their mama house. I just live at my mama house right now, but I usually be in Miami and Las Vegas. No, baby, you live at your mom's house because bad choices. But it doesn't mean you have to continue those bad choices. You can make new choices. In my part of DFW, they're doing in-person classes. Thank you, Fitness Mom. School, oh, look at that. School districts are starting to hit parents with virtual truancy charges if the kids don't log into the school Zoom as expected. Expat home, I'm doing tax lien. Too many boomers checking out not to take advantage. That's right. Houses with that 40-year-old, with that old 40-year-old grease smell coated on the walls, perfect for wholesaling. Listen, we had a neighbor once and they smoked And I remember when she died, they were like in there trying to clean up for the man, and they were cleaning like the wall of dust, right? And smudge, it was like the dirt, the smudge smoke of smoke came off the wall. Like the wallpaper was lighter. It was crazy. And she still died before him. That's the crazy part. In NC, they're trying to pay residents for inconvenience of kids being home. Right. Connecticut's going back tomorrow. Yep, there you go. Chicago, we start online school tomorrow. Virtual learning is tough. You're the lunch lady, principal, teacher, and nurse. Then mom, we have to help with work. I'm tired. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, them kids. Okay. Yeah, push come to shove, you can grow food in your yard. Yep. Ruben, very true. My parents own 3 properties. Tanqueray is hilarious, and I would like to thank him for. I'm actually going to put that up there because I think that's hilarious. If you want to really be my friend, won't you cash at me? I think that's so funny. You guys are wild. You guys are wild out here. Anyway, my mother has 5 houses. I live in one of the 5, so I don't live with my mom. Technically, you don't live with your mom. You don't. Real estate is the base. Think about it. If you own outright your home and lose your job, you can still easily pay your bills doing side hustles if you're not in crazy debt. Even here, there was a young lady on this show. She was in Houston, Texas, and her biggest thing was she was working a job for 18 years she hated. She got is it a townhouse or a condo in Houston, $55,000, and ended up paying, what was it? I think her rent was like $320 something. And she quit her job as soon as she got that house. There are several people I know that are business owners that have jobs but also have a business. They're waiting until they close on their house to quit. It's very common. And right now they're actually doing a thing where they're saying, do you plan on quitting your job? So they're trying to make sure that you don't quit your job and after you pay for it. Okay, with California passing AB 3800, many landlords won't be able to sue for almost a year's worth of rent till March 21. Let me tell you something, Kevin. Let me tell you something, Kevin. I'm going to have Asia Ditton on tomorrow's show about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Texas time, because we're going to talk about the fact that she actually successfully sued, and a year or 2 later, she ended up getting the tax refund of her tenant, of the lady who didn't pay rent. I'm going to be doing that as well here coming up pretty soon. I would love to tell you the process, but I don't speak to the lawyers till closer to November. So I'm going to bring her on, and I want you to really understand that a lot of people, they ain't going to have no tax refund for the next 4 or 5 years because of the amount of debt and stuff they're doing right now. The first claim to it is going to be your landlord. Everybody else, not so much. A lot of the credit cards, like collection companies, are going to go up. Credit repair companies are going to go up. Like, you think you see a lot of credit repair companies right now. You're about to see 10x of those, right? You think you see a lot of collections and tow trucks now. You about to see 3x of those, because at the end of the day, if they pull your truck or they pull your vehicle or they pull, your boat, I remember in North Carolina, in South Carolina, people were literally screwing holes in the bottom of the boat for it to sink so they can get insurance instead of it getting repoed. It's about to happen again. And this is why I tell people, if you're in a position where you can own some properties, if you're in a position where you are, if you're in a position where you can, try to think of a nice way to say it. If you're in a position to have a junkyard, I mean, so to me, that's what it looks like when I see a lot of junk. It looks like a junkyard. But for some people, like right now, I'm gonna, maybe in like 6 months to a year, have a boat and RV storage location place. Why? Because HOAs are increasingly not letting any RVs be anywhere, right? Because what will people do? They try to rent their RV out. They put their RVs on Airbnb while still in their neighborhood, right? A lot of people do a lot of things where they're, kind of, doing stuff that is not illegal, but it's right on the borderline. And so they're going to try to shut that down. HOAs are going to try to shut that down. You're also going to have a lot of boats that used to be on the water, but because that person's having hard times, they're going to need to park them somewhere. But why is it different than regular storage? If you put money into an RV, you're going to pay that $150 a month or $100 a month. If you bought that boat, you're going to pay $100. You're going to pay it. It's not even, you're not losing no boat to $100. If you have to run around and scrounge, you'll keep it up. You will. Thomas Dickerson, fire sale of the century. It really, I'm telling you, y'all think I'm joking. Right now, there are people who are buying land. I think Mobile Home Elite, they got their first mobile home park. Trust and believe. With the mobile home park thing, you're going to have people looking for safe, functional housing. Now, what does that mean? They don't want to live in the hood, right? They don't want to live on top of each other in apartments, but they can go over there and rent that trailer and get a little land around them, right? Same thing for for boats. There is several YouTube channels where people are renting a boat as their apartment. It's a whole minimalist channel showing people renting boats in California and San Diego as an apartment. So trust me, people are gonna get real creative, and you're gonna find. I remember one time I went on this date with this guy when I was in college at ECU. He lived in an RV, and I didn't get it. Right? I was like, "You live there, like full time?" And now looking back, yeah, probably dude was probably more free and got to travel more than a lot of the people, but he was in an RV. We were in college, and so it was like one of those things where even back then it was like, what? It's alternative living. Now, if they are taking bath showers, keeping themselves clean, they're no injury to society. What is going on? No injury to society, then for sure, I have no problem with alternative housing. Y'all, this is crazy, y'all. I'm gonna click on this. Living in San Diego, I've seen this firsthand near SeaWorld. Is that where a lot of boats are? Thank you, Tangeray 10 Gin and Tonic for for the $50 super chat. I appreciate it. I went to high school with a cat who lived on a boat with his fam and a pet duck. Wow, that's crazy. Where's another one? Airbnb about to be like the Flintstones, people renting out caves and stuff. Can you think of any farmers markets you liked in NC? I think the one in Raleigh was the biggest. I think the one in Charlotte now is starting to be really nice. Y'all are crazy. Renting boats are common. Where are you at, Doug? What city is that? Award-winning Doug in our chats. Listening to Doctor earlier, this guy made $350K living in an RV. He was scared to buy a house because he lost one in the past. Trauma is a serious thing. People, when you talk about you guys are cracking me up. When people have trauma, like it's a real thing. There's a book called The Body Remembers. And in the book, it talks about sometimes when we have an accident, we fall down. I mean, you've seen this with old people. They walk with a cane and they ain't broken nothing in years. You see people who, back in 88, I hurt my hand and did something, what I mean? I did this or that to my hand. We've seen that. We've seen that before. Charlotte's really nice, especially. Oh yeah, what's the lake area by Charlotte? Over there, lots of boats renting. They are. I agree. That's what they're doing with Mulan. I don't want to see Mulan enough to pay for it. If it ain't in the movie theater, what am I paying for? Especially when people have already paid for Disney. Yeah. I mean, so if you ever see the Hallmark movies where every single woman moves to a smaller town and the guy owns a whole shop there. He owns a whole farm. This is a real thing. You go outside of Austin, there are several men who own big swatches of land. It's just them out there, a couple helpers. That's a real thing, but it's the bringing people to the land. It's like, same thing in Birmingham, Alabama. When I was in Birmingham, Alabama, I would meet people who, I met my wife in Atlanta. And I go, well, there's plenty of women here. They're like, yeah, but we drive up on the weekends to Atlanta and just find girlfriends and then bring them down. People do that. People really do that. A lot of people still have trauma from 2008. Oh, yes. Oh, Money World, I'm gonna have to in a minute. Can they still hit you with property taxes on the houseboat? It depends on the area. Okay, you came straight from Thought Crimes. What were they talking about tonight? Oh yeah, Michael White. I mean, like a junkyard, like Sanford and Son. You're gonna need cameras, fencing. You're gonna need literally Lake Norman. Thank you. You're going to need security. You're going to need to check inventory, but it will sell at some point. My thing is he said Birmingham sucks. It does, but my thing is what people have to understand is it's a time limit on that. It's the prime example right now. If I say this, you guys, everybody knows what I'm talking about. Quit selling them 1996 Hondas on the internet for $3,000. Put a one in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Right? If you've ever been on Craigslist, you ever been somewhere, like, I feel like right now if I Google Honda Accord for sale, we're gonna find one. I think I found one just to show y'all a proof point. Okay. Now, when I would go, it would be tax time, right? People be like, yeah, let me see if I pull it up. Let me pull it up. Okay. So let me see if it'll share the screen. So the reason I'm showing you this is even something that's years and years old, people can still sell, but there's a time limit on some of these things. You're not going to be able to sell these stuff forever, right? Now look at this, 1997 Honda, $2 grand, $2 grand, 3,400, 3,700, 3,900, 4,000, $5,000, and look at that one, it's beat up. $5,000, $5,000, $6,000. Now, let's be really honest. The speedometers that are at 65 and 81, these are lies. These cars are 20 years old. These cars have been driven to 120,000 miles plus. And the reason I'm showing you that is because that's literally how that goes. People are out here selling stuff 20 years old, still trying to get top dollar for it. That car has 24,000 miles because it already went on over 1 million. It sure did. Honda Prelude's in good shape. Will get you a grip. Food shortage will come to make us get that COVID shot. Listen, better get knowing your farmers. Joe Button, I'm a worker, you're a boss. I mean, listen, you already know. Are them cars really worth that much? They're not. They really aren't. They're worth $500. That's what they're worth. A car right now is worth what somebody will pay for it. And clearly, when people can get approved financing, they keep buying these $50,000 trucks, or going over in debt because that's just what it is. Y'all, I'm gonna stop. Okay. I've been looking for a cheap car for my son and we haven't found anything. You're not, right? Because here's what's the truth of it. These cars are worth $500. But to someone who, let's just be honest, if you own the Honda, instead of you selling it for $500 or $1,000, you'll just keep driving it because it still has utility. And that's the whole point. The boats, the cars, the houses, the RVs, as long as they still have utility and function to you, then that's what they'll do, right? You'll still keep using them. Same thing with businesses. When I talked the other day about buying businesses, why would somebody sell you a business even if it just gives them 30, 40K a month or 40K a year? Even if it's a year, that business owner rather, because of pride, keep that business going than sell it to you. Boy, they wearing me out over here. Uh-oh. Will do. Thank you, Lance Brown. In Los Angeles, there are a certain population of people that love those cars. They buy them as soon as the signs go up the street. This is true. They're better off just selling Honda parts and moving along, but they won't. Will Melvin? Yeah, pretty much. Thanks, Doug. Would I suggest? I would, depending on the vegetable. If you say blueberry, yeah, blueberries, unique stuff. But I mean, you can go right now on YouTube and see that people create whole orchards, harvests off of like an acre, off of 2 acres, off of 10 acres. So again, the micro farming will be back in effect because more localized shopping. Now, what do I mean by that? Like you'll be able to sell directly to different farmer markets or different stores that need fresh fruits and vegetables, but they cost so much to get them from their original supplier. So people don't realize these stores, these restaurants and stores closing not only impact the milk, the food stuff you can get local, it impacts those restaurants. And you guys are cracking me up. Thank you. I appreciate it. X-Back Home. Y'all give my internet cousin her 300 likes. I'm telling you, we try to make the likes work over here. But the reason I'm bringing this up is you have to find creative ways to make it do with what you got. Like if you could only get 2 acres, trust me, there are tons of videos on YouTube, tons of farms and homesteads where they take 2 acres and make it work. Chickens, all kind of stuff. Look up CSA, it's community supported agriculture. Very important. Thank you, X-Back Home. Master Jones, Eric, if you have a talent to do a service business part-time, would you suggest go ahead and get LLC regardless of how much your ROI may make? Yes, Master Jones, because if you've taken the Middleman to Millions course, which right now the coupon code for Labor Day is Labor Day for 50% off, you literally can streamline that business so that it consistently brings you maybe $1,000, $3,000 a month. Now, why am I talking about this? If you get something, a business brings you in $1,000 a month, at the end of the year, that's 12 grand. You didn't have to work an extra job for it. You just focused on your business. Now, let's say that business brings you an extra 3 grand a month. For a year, that's an extra $36,000. I want you to understand, in this world of like, I'm $1 million this, $1 million that, the biggest thing I like to tell people is what's the net? I know several people right now with $1 million businesses, and if you looked at their net, you'd be like, what? What happened? Because I'm in enough masterminds where I'm seeing people like, I make $1 million. I'm $1 million this, I'm $1 million that. And I'm like, we can see your net is like 40 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand. It's very important. People don't hear that part of it though. This is very true. Goats are good too. They keep the land clear. This is true. They have places in Dallas where you can rent mini garden space to grow your own food. Yep. High overhead. Just sold my 06 Scion for $2,100 cash with 180,000 miles. It was overpriced for sure, but the nice Latino man Sure did pony up that cash quick. Beats a car note. For sure. And also just paperwork and financing, and you never know someone's personal background story. They may just want a car they paid cash for. So Master Jones, thank you, or other Z, for the $10 super chat. I was more worried about the taxes. So here's my problem with that. I hate when people tell me they're worried about taxes, because that's like saying I don't want extra money because of taxes. Like, I don't know, that blows my mind. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me see here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all been supporting the show so hard today. I've supported all of y'all. Thank you so much. But that's the biggest thing. So the fall, my biggest thing is insurance is going to go up. So brace yourself for the insurance to go up. Food prices are going to go up because of Iowa mostly. But again, what happens October, November, December, tropical storms, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, marriage and cohabitation will go up. What's going to happen is several batches of these people are going to go home with their parents. Their parents are going to get on their nerves so bad from COVID this year, they're going to move out. They don't care if they have to marry somebody or cohabit with somebody. Now, why am I saying this? Because I already know people who this is happening to. I've got people on my staff here that work in the office. They tired of their parents. They done moved out just because their parents get on their nerves. And it's stressful if you're not from a certain culture to live at home with your parents after a certain age. So a lot of these people thinking they're going to go home and save money and we're going to do that. That ain't going to happen. It's not happening like that. You rather go have some random stranger roommates, because that already is a boarding house in itself. When you have to go on the internet to find roommates that are strangers, you're already in a boarding house. You are doing house hacking. I love how J-Dub would like a balance sheet reveal. J-Dub, you throwing some money on me? You're tricking. So J-Dub, I talked about in October 30th, I'm doing a video income reveal. I never said a balance sheet reveal. I said income reveal of over how 4 of my businesses did this year because of COVID and the whole year. Why am I doing it? Because I think it's important to have transparency. And I'm in several mastermind groups where I see people say, oh, I did my income report, and they leave half of it off there. They don't give you real numbers. They don't show you how businesses really is run. So for J-Dub, make sure you save a date, October 30th. You'll have that quarter, and then also December 30th, because my taxes will all be glistening and done for all my companies. I'm doing another one, October 30th, to end the year out. There you go, J-Dub. Counting them pockets. Congratulations. So yeah, don't mind paying taxes. Just got to read how it works when owning a business, even when you don't make much. So you can get a lot of, like, again, CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant, consult your advisor. About 5 years of you writing off a business, writing it off. After 5-year mark, they consider the business a hobby. This was something a lot of people did in the 80s. Their parents, their dad, wrote up they had a business and it never made any money. Well, eventually the IRS was like, okay, we'll stop it. That's not a good depreciation tactic. And it's important for people to understand that, because there is a book I recommend. I don't have a copy in the office, but I'm going to pull it up. And every year I tell y'all, when it's tax time, go get this book, because they pull it back off the shelf when it's not tax time. Here we go. Every year I tell y'all, get this book, because after tax time, if you're at Barnes & Nobles, they take it away, they put it back out there, and they update it every year. So let me go ahead and share the screen here. All right, J-Dub, make sure you super chat that day I do that show, okay? Make sure you support the channel. All right, so Here it is. Here's one of them. 1,001 deductions and tax breaks. I know, Day Brown, it's just because I'm brown and I'm a woman. I already know. I've literally experienced this past year that I've seen people literally go work for Romanians and Ukrainians, and they cheat them out of their money, and they still rather work for them because they're white men. It's a psychological issue. It really is. And the fact that I've taken years to educate and train people on how to spot an income. And if you go watch some of my previous videos, you've heard me slip up and say how much I made last year, how much one business made, how much this other business made, how much I made off this and that. If you pay attention enough, you've heard it. You've heard it. And so if you even watch some of the streams I've done with Terry Egioma, several people, I've been interviewed by over 72 podcasts. I've said it several times. But again, it's because I'm brown and I'm a woman. They can't make it click. There's just no way you make this money. And that's because I do service businesses. It's because I work my ass off. That's because I actually have systems and processes in place. That's because we have employees here. We have VAs in the Philippines working for us. We have people on payroll. We actually treat people with respect here. That's why. And I think, we live in a society of people who, if they can't wrap their head around it, they got to tear you down. Because that's all they know how to do. They're demo people. See, builders build. Demo people demo. That's all they know how to do. They just tear it apart. When I sit here and tell you there's 1.9 million in assets that I'm managing, you can go 5, 6, 7, 8 ways on that. Some of those assets are mine. Some of those assets are in groups. Some of those assets are in partnerships. If you paid attention to the channel a couple years ago, you know about the properties I owned in North Carolina before this. You know about the tax liens. You know about over the 400 notes I have in Lending Club. Not to turn this around to be a jerk in this channel, but I've noticed that, especially with African-American people, it's a resistance to that. Tough resistance. It's almost mental more than it is physically. If I show you on a piece of paper, every dollar, every dime, what does that do for you? I don't know. I don't. Now, here's what I do know. J-Dub, they haven't done balance sheet reveals. They've done income reports, which is a total different word. And if you know what you're talking about, trust me, balance sheet is different than an income report. You know how I know? I'm in about 12 different masterminds. And several people who do income reports leave off half their stuff. So I know the difference in the wording, and so do you. If you're smart, which I think you're very smart, I don't think you're dumb coming here. A balance sheet is different. And this is why I always talk about when you see these businesses that are saying they're making $1 million, I say, what's their net? Right? And that's what October 30th will be and December 30th. What, Jay? That's wow. Okay. Anyway. So the point of what I'm saying is this fall, what I need you to do is just be alert and pay attention. The biggest thing you can do is prepare yourself, because if you already know food's going to go up, right? And the quality of food that you want is only going to be at select stores. You should get there and pick what you want. If you already know insurance is going to go up, that won't scare you when you get a new car or your house bill comes. Solar panels, the sale of solar panels are going to go up. Why? Because right now there's a lot of incentives left over from Obama administration, and Trump renewed it. So you'll see a lot of solar panel sales go up. You'll see a lot of people selling solar panels, because the thought of, let me just put it this way, if I put these solar panels on my house, I'll save $300 in electricity every month. Now you and me may think $300, what's that? $300 to a family that's barely making it times a year is $3,000 extra dollars in their pocket. May not seem like a lot to us, but it's a lot to some people, okay? Another thing you're gonna see is cohabitation go up, okay? I think this will be a good thing long term. I think there's a lot of kids living in very unbalanced households. Even as you have 50% of kids moving back home with their parents, what a lot of these people are gonna see, you're gonna see a lot of arrested development. you know, if you're in your 30s trying to go live back home, unless you're taking care of your parents, it's a little odd, right? I've talked to some people who are lonely because of COVID and they're moving back closer to a town near their parents. No problem. But you have to really look at the background to it. Oh, Super Slap Fox, I know. I'm already prepared for it. And some of these things are Googleable to the public, right? A lot of these things you can actually Google companies and businesses, and you can Google information. That's how people put the network calculator together. I mean, if you really want to be a detective on some people, you can look people up by their names or their companies, what their companies own, what they pay in property taxes in various states. For me, you can look up a lot of stuff. 3,000 a year can be a college fund. It really could. Birmingham and Huntsville are listed as tech hubs by Market Watch. Yeah, they're really an opportunity for growth. I know people hate Birmingham, but Huntsville, Alabama is really becoming like a small tech city of the South. If you see the show Love and Real Estate, they've become popular off that. Let me put it to you this way. When someone asks for a balance sheet, I'm like, are you about to buy my business? A balance sheet is me showing you all the assets, and like if you want an income report, a P&L, let's do that. I can do a P&L all day. That doesn't put anybody on staff or anybody's personal business about. You know what I'm saying? Mentor Shelly, tell them, honey, tell them. They don't know, and that's okay. I'm just saying. I just want you to understand what you're asking for. Let me see. Any last questions, you guys? I'm gonna get on out of here. All right, you guys. Okay. Ooh, Dexter Williams. I'm gonna go. That's above my pay grade because there's about 14 other questions I would have to ask with that, which I don't think you want to share that publicly. I would first CYA consult your accountant and then consult your attorney. I'm a biggest fan of just starting a new LLC. It's $300. Start from scratch. Unless you're trying to save the age on it, start from scratch. It actually is quite real. This is actually accurate as well. If you're in Atlanta, you know that you have Honda, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, Autocar, New Flyer. Yeah, all those are down there. Especially in Birmingham when I was down there for the tornado. Okay. Definitely do that today. I would strongly suggest. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna get on out of here so I can cuss out people in peace. You guys have a great night. There's 313 people in here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for coming in my office when I show these videos. Some of you at the boat party saw the office. There's some videos from the boat party we will be dropping. Thank you for supporting the channel and all you guys do. Again, if you want any courses today, the Labor Day spell, which kind of goes off, I think, at midnight or noon tomorrow. The code is Labor Day. My VA sent an email out today. I hope y'all got it. But yeah, the code is Labor Day for 50% off. You guys have an amazing night. This is Erica Williams signing out. You guys have a great day.